Hey everyone, welcome back to the Painter's Journey. Today we're diving into the fascinating life of Edvard Munch, the mastermind behind some of the most iconic pieces of art in history. You might know him best for the scream, but there's so much more to his story. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's explore what we can learn from this incredible artist. Edvard Munch was born on December 12, 1863, in a little town in Norway called Loten. His life was, well, anything but easy. He lost his mother to tuberculosis when he was just 5 years old, and his sister Sophie to the same disease a few years later. These early tragedies deeply affected him and permeated his work throughout his career. Imagine being that young and dealing with such loss. It's no wonder Munch's work is filled with such raw emotion. He often said, and I quote, "Illness, madness, and death were the black angels that kept watch over my cradle and accompanied me all my life." That's pretty intense, right? The creative process of Edvard Munch was as intense as the emotions he depicted. He was known for his meticulous work habits, often revisiting the same themes and compositions over many years. Munch had a unique method of painting, frequently working outdoors to capture the natural light and atmosphere. He once described his approach, "I do not paint what I see, but what I saw." This technique allowed him to infuse his landscapes and portraits with a sense of memory and emotion, rather than mere replication of reality. So let's talk a bit about his career. After those tough early years, Munch's father, a strict and pious man, raised him and his siblings. His father's stern ways added to Munch's emotional turmoil. But as they say, adversity breeds creativity. Munch's art became an outlet for his emotional experiences and mental struggles. By the 1880s, Munch was studying at the Royal School of Art and Design in Christiania, which is now Oslo. He started to get involved with the city's bohemian circles. These folks were all about breaking the rules and pushing boundaries, which was right up Munch's alley. He began experimenting with different styles, influenced by various movements, but always staying true to expressing his inner life. Munch's artistic style and technique evolved significantly throughout his career. Early on, he was influenced by the realism of French Impressionism, but it gradually moved towards a more symbolic and expressive style. This shift was partly due to his exposure to the works of Vincent van Gogh and Paul Gauguin, whose bold use of color and form inspired Munch to experiment with more abstract and emotional representations. His famous Rays of Life series, which include The Scream, is the culmination of these stylistic developments, depicting themes of love, anxiety, and death with vivid colors and dramatic compositions. Munch's style evolved into what we now call symbolism, where the emphasis is on representing emotional experiences rather than physical reality. His works are characterized by bold colors, dramatic lines, and a kind of dreamlike quality that invites viewers to feel his emotional state. One of the most notable periods in Munch's career was his time in Berlin in the 1890s. He became part of a group of artists and intellectuals known as the Berlin Secession. This was a really productive period for him, and it was here that he painted The Scream. Speaking of The Scream, did you know that there are actually 4 versions of it? Yeah, crazy, right? There are 2 paintings, a lithograph, and a pastel. Each version captures the same existential angst, that primal scream of nature as Munch described it. What's fascinating is how Munch dealt with his struggles through his art. He didn't shy away from his pain, he confronted it head-on. He once said, "Art comes from joy and pain, but mostly from pain." That's a powerful reminder for all of us. Our struggles can fuel our greatest work. But life wasn't just an endless series of tragic events for Munch. He did find moments of happiness and inspiration. He loved the landscapes of Norway and often drew inspiration from the fjords and forests. These natural scenes offered a sort of solace and a contrast to his inner turmoil. As Munch grew older, his work gained more recognition, but he never really escaped his demons. He suffered a nervous breakdown in 1908 and spent several months in a clinic. But even this period of his life was productive. He created some of his most introspective works during this time. There's a lesson here for all of us. Munch's life shows us that our personal experiences, no matter how painful, can be a wellspring of creativity. It's about channeling that energy into our work and using it to fuel our passion. To reflect on what we've discussed today, consider this question. How do you think personal struggles and societal influences shape the work of artists in contemporary times? And how can we, as admirers of art, draw inspiration from their resilience and creativity? In his later years, Munch continued to work prolifically, leaving behind a legacy of over 1,000 paintings, numerous prints, and drawings. He passed away in 1944, but his influence is still felt today. His exploration of human emotion and psychological themes paved the way for many modern artists. So, what can we take away from Edvard Munch's life? First, embrace your emotions, even the painful ones. They can be a powerful source of inspiration. Second, don't be afraid to break the rules and explore new styles. And finally, remember that every experience, good or bad, shapes who you are as an artist. Thanks for joining me today as we explore the life of Edvard Munch. I hope you found it some inspiration and maybe a few new perspectives to apply to your own work. Keep creating, keep pushing boundaries, and most importantly, keep feeling. Until next time, take care and keep making art.